The Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Janelle Slade.
And I'm Jay Cohn. More earthquakes rattling Hawaii's Big Island today as the Kilauea volcano spews fountains of lava.
This as residents have already been dealing with the lava threat from a volcanic eruption that forced evacuations and filled the air with sulfur dioxide.
At least 2 homes have been burned.
CBS's Daniel Nottingham has the latest.
Frightening moments as another large earthquake shook Hawaii's Big Island. This Mountain View resident took cover under a table.
Please, God, please make it stop.
The U.S. Geological Survey says a magnitude 6.9 quake hit Friday. Students at Hilo High School panicked when they felt the ground shake. They were ushered away from the swimming pool. A magnitude 5.0 earthquake hit on Thursday, and the Kilauea volcano began to erupt shortly after.
We haven't seen an eruption in this part of Kilauea since 1960.
Lava could be seen bubbling on the streets in the community of Leilani Estates, 25 miles away.
We're in Leilani right now. You can hear that noise right there. It smells like sulfur. All around here, sulfur smell.
Experts warn the sulfur dioxide levels are high and can be dangerous.
Anyone with respiratory problems will certainly be feeling the effects of the SO2 gas in the area.
Time-lapse video shows the continuous flow of the lava lake inside Kilauea's crater.
Right now, the lava flow is very localized, but there's always the potential that there could be an explosive eruption. When that happens, there could be disruptions to electricity, to water supplies, transportation lines, things that we take for granted.
Scientists are trying to calculate how much more magma has the potential to rise to the surface. Danielle Nottingham, CBS News.
And experts say eruptions can last for months.
So far, as many as 1,500 people have been evacuated.
Tonight, new and disturbing details surrounding Tuesday's shooting and standoff in downtown Billings.
New court documents out this afternoon indicate the suspect invited the 2 probation and parole officers into his home, then pulled out a semi-automatic handgun and started shooting. 60-year-old Michael Jeffrey Anderson today charged in Yellowstone County Justice Court with 2 counts of attempted deliberate homicide.
The names of the probation officers caught in that gunfire are also released today. Alan Kitterman and Derek Skinner arrived at Anderson's home on 2nd Avenue North just before 4:30 Tuesday afternoon to administer a random drug test and home check. Once inside, Kitterman noticed a pellet gun leaning against a wall. Skinner, who walked back to the defendant's bedroom, also found a loaded Bushmaster AR-15 rifle on the bed.
Meanwhile, Anderson had gone to a small room near the kitchen where he started to rummage through some clothes. And when Officer Kitterman asked Anderson to show his hands, Anderson said something like, "I have something to show you." That's when he allegedly pulled out a semi-automatic handgun and started to shoot. As the officers fired back and retreated, the suspect was wounded.
City, county, state, and federal authorities responded. The standoff lasted about 2 hours before authorities removed the front door and found Anderson lying inside. Anderson was hospitalized and is now at the Yellowstone County Jail. Now, if convicted, Anderson could face up to life in prison, possible fines, and an extra 10 years for the use of a weapon.
Billings School District 2's new superintendent says he's excited and ready to tackle his new job. Helena Assistant Superintendent Greg Upham accepted the Billings job Thursday after the district's first choice declined the previous day. Today, Upham told MTN that he really didn't have to think long about taking the job. He says he wants the high schools here to help students transition into the real world. But he says in order to gain public support, a connection to the community is key.
I'm just excited to get down to Billings and meet people and have a chance to listen to the initiatives that are in the district. I know what most of them are, but I just look forward to just meeting people. Where we've made a mistake as a system is simply that the senior year is a year of completion. It's not a year of completion. It's a year of transition. And so there's no longer can a K-12 education feed a family. Those days are gone. And so our students have to think past that, and our parents have to think past that. And if we can help students, dip their toe in the water, if you will, in the 11th and 12th grade, I think we're going to see a whole new paradigm shift as to the relevance of an individual's education moving forward.
And Upham says he favors the idea of immersing junior and seniors together to pursue vocational careers. He says getting those students focused on a career path early is vital.
The Boy Scouts of America announced a name change this week as it moves toward adding girls into the program. Q2's David J. joins us now with more on what this means for local troops. David.
ESA. The biggest change is the girls will be allowed to join their own troops separate from the boys and earn all the awards, including Eagle Scout. The change came to allow families to have boys and girls in the same organization. Currently, the venturing and exploring programs are co-ed and are for older children. The Cub Scouts will also be co-ed. The decision to form girls' troops will be up to the organizations that sponsor the Boy Scout programs, according to Don Bean of the Boy Scouts Montana Council in Great Falls.
Some have across the board said, no, we're going to stay with boys. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which is our largest sponsoring organization, has decided that. But I would say the majority of the others have decided to go with boy troops and girl troops. It's not a co-ed program. It's a troop of boys and a troop of girls, but the girls, they'll have the same program requirements to advance and to get badges.
Cub Scouts will start accepting girls in the fall. The name change will take effect in February of 2019 when girls can start joining Scouts BSA. Meanwhile, the Girl Scouts of Montana and Wyoming issued a statement after the name change stating that it reasserts its commitment to providing an all girl-led and girl-friendly environment. Janelle?
All right, thanks so much, David J.
On to the weather scene now. Bob McGuire joining us with a closer look at those river levels across our region. Bob?
Well, you know, we've been talking about the other rivers outside of Montana and outside of south central Montana. They're going up. But what about ours? Well, we're not doing too bad because we had kind of a slow snow melt, but that's going to change. The mid and upper levels are going to start melting pretty soon. So here's what we have right now. Here in the Billings area, you can see we're at 6.25. Flood stage in Billings is 13.5 feet. Meanwhile, the Yellowstone in Livingston, that's a 501. Not too bad. Flood stage there about 9.5. The Shields River, now that's getting up there. That's at 4.36. Flood stage is 5.5. That's forecast to go to 5 feet this weekend, so that's pretty close. Clark's Fork of the Yellowstone, we're worried about that one, but that's only at 3.44, right? Flood stage is 8, but that's forecast to go to 7.2 feet this weekend, so that's going to get pretty close to flood stage as well. Meanwhile, the Stillwater at Absaroka, that's a 3 feet. Flood stage there is 7, so it's doing okay. Anyway, our forecast is talking about maybe some spotty sprinkles, warmer temperatures this weekend. We'll chat about that in a few more minutes.
All right, thanks, Bob.
Well, the annual Day of Donations Yellowstone Valley Gives wrapped up today, and a Bridger Carpenter tells us the event helped him break his personal fundraising goal.
Rich Holstein says he surpassed his lifetime donation goal of donating $400,000 to charity. Holstein's been raising money for years now, selling his handmade picture frames built with the wood from Yellowstone Park's historic Old Faithful Inn. Now, heading into Yellowstone Valley Gives, Holstein was just $5,000 short of his goal. Now he tells us he reached $400,750, all for charity.
An emotional moment for Holstein, who has devoted much of his life to giving back. He tells us his daughter will now carry on this family value with the sale of a table she built for Fromberg 4-H. CBS's 60 Minutes will get a little wild this Sunday. Anderson Cooper will join renowned wildlife photographer Thomas Mangelson on a trip to Wyoming.
And tonight, a preview of why this photo shoot has always been worth the wait.
Whether it's a male grizzly bear with battle scars, a cheetah chasing down its prey in Tanzania, or butterflies sipping on the tears of a giant caiman in Brazil, each of Tom Mangelson's photographs tells a story.
Over the course of your lifetime, the amount of time you've spent waiting is incalculable, I'm sure.
Stupid.
Stupid?
Yeah.
Have you learned anything with all that waiting?
You wait long enough, it does pay off.
And at 72, he still travels to remote and inhospitable places. What he brings back are some of the most spectacular pictures of wild animals that you'll ever see.
Wow. Now 60 Minutes airs right here on Q2. That's Sunday at 6 p.m. right after the Q2 5:30 news.
Still to come on tonight's 10 o'clock news, it's the environment versus the interior. One department gets caught trying to divert its negative attention.
Plus, later tonight, break out your big hats for the big race as a Montana horse hits the track of the Kentucky Derby.
And coming up in sports tonight, Scott sets up a giant volleyball weekend here in Billings and tells us how recruiting plays a big role.
You're watching MTN News with Jay Cohn and Janelle Slade. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire and sports with Scott Green. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2. Montana's news leader.